referenced that as part of the attempt to go and, I believe, get more people having homes. That was also referenced by our friend from Lund University, that they're trying to get more people into homes by requiring banks to give out mortgages to people who should not have been given mortgages because they could not pay for them. That was, it wasn't too bad when it was originally passed under Carter, but through an executive order under Clinton's administration, that was strengthened and its scope was strongly expanded. That was in turn latched onto by groups such as Acorn, who threatened with lawsuits and other actions referenced in the CRA, banks to try and coerce them into giving out these loans so that more people could get home ownership. And finally, there's the accountant rule, mark to market, which basically says if you have an asset, it has to be valued on the books at its current market value, which annihilated in several banks and corporations that had assets that could not be traded on the market currently, but still were revenue generating things. But since they had marked them to zero, they then became listed as bankrupt when in fact they were not. So the first, however, there are ways to fix it. To begin with, actually bipartisanship isn't the approach to it. That's what gave us the $700 billion bailout, waste of the taxpayers' money, increase of debt. So, obviously that is not bipartisanship, isn't necessarily the way to go, at least not that kind of bipartisanship, which was in some supported by both Senators McCain and Obama. What we need to do, first off, is privatize Fannie and Freddie as quickly as possible and any other GSEs. If they never should have been coming into existence in the first place. They've massively distorted the market, leading to this current situation, and therefore they'll be privatized as quickly as is possible.
I'm going to call time, but thank you for that. I'm going to allow anyone from the panel to rebut or respond. Would anyone like to?
I can jump in to say when we had the crisis in the 90s, what the Swedish government did when the banking crisis, we went in and we bought shares in the banks. When the crisis was over, we sold the shares, and the Swedish state actually made money. We made money on that actually, and I think that is a way to go. And I don't think you should do a $700 bailout.
Well, that is actually the route the United States has been going, and it was actually Gordon Brown who led the charge for that. But the Swedish model originally, the American government was scared of it. But then Gordon Brown promoted it, and that's pretty much what we've started doing.
Yeah, and it worked very, very good in the United States.
It's worked in Sweden.
That's right. I was going to say that's the route that I think we should go.
Yeah.
I personally completely disagree with the bill, but that's the bill that my candidate put his support behind. But I definitely think that model is definitely going to be much more effective, and we will make more than our money back, hopefully, through that system.
If I may, the whole goal of the bailout was to inject capital back into the market, but it's an improper way of doing so, and it's also ineffective. They may have had success in Sweden, but there's no guarantee of it. A much more proper and effective route would instead to inject capital into the market would be lower the capital gains tax rate to zero for 2 years. That'll spur a large degree of investment in a number of corporations, especially if we create other incentives for corporations and individuals to invest funds in currently distressed assets. And additionally, and when capital gains does come back in, index it to inflation so that we have actual tax on real gains and not inflationary ones.
Democrat response?
Just to go back to what was mentioned about Senator McCain's tax policy with companies. Senator McCain has voted to retain tax breaks for companies that ship jobs overseas. And he's proposing a $200 billion tax cut to corporations even if they do not invest in the United States or create a single job in the United States. I would hardly see that as a solution to the U.S. Financial crisis. We need to end tax breaks for companies that ship jobs overseas. I know you mentioned that, although I do not believe that Senator McCain really believes in doing that. And we need new tax breaks for companies that create jobs specifically in America. In response to what our colleague Kevin said, I'm no economist, but Senator Obama has said that effectively, because of all the loopholes in the tax system, our corporate tax rate is actually one of the lowest in the developed countries of the world. Although it has, on the surface, it appears to be the highest.
Well, I could say overall level of taxation is It's half of what it is in Sweden, and of developed countries, it's considerably lower than European countries. Only Japan really is close developed nations overall.
I'd like to actually ask a question to the president of the College Democrats. So would you say, is Senator Obama for or against the free market?
Oh, I would say Senator Obama is for the free market. However, you have to also understand that the United States is a mixed economy. With regulations, there are many socialistic aspects of the United States economy that people tend to overlook. And not to say that Senator Obama is for socialism per se, but rather that Senator Obama understands the need for regulation on companies, but also with a keen eye towards helping small businesses. And Senator Obama would actually eliminate capital gains for small businesses altogether, and create a healthcare tax credit for small businesses as well. So I mean, it's a lot of it has to do with taxes, and I really don't think that progressive tax rate goes against the mixed economy of the United States.
I'm going to ask our friend from the Socialist Party if he would like to respond. Would you like to?
When I say that Senator Obama is against the free market, I think he is very much for the free market, which I don't agree with. I am very much in favor of repealing the NAFTA agreements, or at least renegotiating them, so that we avoid this race to the bottom problem that we have right now. I feel very strange in being the only one who's really willing to admit that capitalism really, I don't believe, works as a system that in a civilized, if we're going to keep moving towards the ideal of humanity, which is the best for all of us, I really don't see how that equates in a capitalist system. I firmly hold and maintain the theory that capitalism is a tool for the few to control the many, and I believe that if we're ever going to grow as a global society, that we need to move away from that. But I hope I answered your question. If not, you can feel free to rag on me.
We'll allow them to work after that.
I'm just so I'm clear on this, Senator Obama is for to Stephen and Brendan, Senator Obama is for the free market while he has opposed the Central American Free Trade Agreement, the Colombian Free Trade Agreement, the South Korean Free Trade Agreement, is for massively increasing taxes, has advocated support for a single-payer healthcare system, and is for, encouraged the bailout, and has been for numerous other government interventions into the economy. How exactly is that the free market?
My response.
Well, I think there's many aspects to a free market, but in response to that, I would say that the libertarian ideals of a free market are obviously very different from that of even a Republican notion of a free market. As to they're very different ideals, obviously. I wouldn't say that he's opposed to free market economics, but simply that he understands that there are flaws in such agreements. I'm not sure if he voted yes in favor of the Peru Free Trade Agreement. Many Democrats did, in fact, vote for that, realizing that it was actually
He did.
Yeah, realizing that that was actually a fairly good agreement, and so he voted for that one. I think that that's an instance of supporting the free market, as you mentioned. And in response to Brendan, Senator Obama does want to revisit NAFTA.
All right, we're just going to move on for the sake of time, but we'll come back to it at the end during question period. All right? On the topic of security, there's a protest